issue, the fact that...
you got to do something about the heat here, man.
Are you hot?
Man, I'm boiling here. And these things don't breathe either.
No, they don't. They're not the greatest running shirts.
Polyester.
And actually, before I talk about David Eby, I want to make a public request to the Salvation Army that next year for the Santa Shuffle, and I know it's part of a bigger Santa Shuffle, and I'm not a leaf licker by any stretch of the imagination, okay? But can we just go away from leaf licking, bean eating vegan, right? It would be somebody that would protect the environment. I'm not one of those people, right? I believe in, pillaging the earth for oil and gas.
You could have stopped.
But anyways, I digress. Where I'm going with this is these shirts are a one-time use shirt. Like, us three turds are wearing it for the Christmas episode. I want you to go away from this. I want you either just to make a regular t-shirt that people might wear on another occasion, a random t-shirt that says Salvation Army on it, Santa Shuffle, whatever, a little less boastful, or just go completely away from it. You printed off those bibs, those stickers. We could all just put a sticker on. We all know we're on the Santa Shuffle. This feels pretty wasteful. Most of these would end up at Value Village or in the garbage can after one use.
So you t-shirt wouldn't?
No, a regular t-shirt or even a hoodie.
That you could sleep in or something.
Something that somebody would use. But like this is just, you're not going to wear this again, right? Like we're doing dress up here, right?
Nicole threw them away.
Yeah, we threw ours. We had 8 of them. Like,
so you want us to change the shirts?
Yeah, change the shirts or do away with them. We're all going to donate.
Definitely not. We are committed to the shirts.
Okay, we're done talking, David Eby.
I'm kidding. Sure. Pass the feedback along to my wife. Like, it's not me.
No, it's you, man. Who runs the house
Who's the major?
Yeah.
No,
who's the
she's the one who buys this stuff, not me.
I can talk.
I don't make these decisions.
Yeah, but you're...
No, I actually think... So Santa Shuffle's not us, right?
No, I know. It's a national thing. I get that. I can see that. It's across the country.
They put out like a...
you could lead by example. And you guys are good at leading by example.
But I think we buy their shirts.
Yeah, but you don't need to. You can go get... I can help you. I'm a sponsor.
We'll talk about
telling you as a sponsor, okay? I believe in the cause. Salvation Army is a great cause. David Eby.
David Eby is that.
This is the guy that decided to. It's called connected to.
Who is he?
He's the provincial leader in our province in BC.
Okay.
He was a social justice warrior, a lawyer, I think, before he became a politician.
Social justice warrior,
lawyer? And a good. I would argue in some ways, for those less fortunate, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But now he's our premier, and he has zero fiscal skills whatsoever. It's embarrassing. And so now what's happened?
You think he put people around him that can do it?
No, they never do. You have to be extremely mature leader to pick people that are way smarter than you to surround you. Most people will gravitate towards having people that listen to them and don't challenge them, because it's very uncomfortable to have people that are way brighter than you questioning what you're doing.
That's the only reason I still got a job. I put people around me that can do it.
I've managed to hire a few simpletons too, but they're getting smarter and smarter as longer I go here.
Anyway, go ahead. David Eby.
They got the land, and I forget the correct term. Is it unidrip, or somebody's just going to be saying the word on the other end of the show here? But there's through the UN. Can you Google it a minute? Through the UN, into the way that we make decisions in BC. We're following this basically this legal framework that was brought in by the UN. Like, didn't have to be, but John Horgan, I think he was the premier before David Eby. He's passed away now. He was definitely a better premier than what we have now, but he was a big proponent of this as well. And it's about equality and the idea that basically, and I read the points the other night from this law. What we're basing our laws on is basically, hey, the fact that the natives were here first. They have their own sovereignty, and a lot of those ideas in principle we might agree with. We might be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, be self-governing, or what does that look like? Well, now we have this area in Richmond where all of a sudden, you've probably heard about this.
Yeah. Private land ownership
just disappeared, gone, food for dust. And it's interesting because it'll show up in the next public election. People are probably not speaking as vocally about this as they feel, but in the secrecy of the ballot box, it will become very obvious that people, as much as they may be all about reconciliation and truth and all this stuff, they're not about just all of a sudden working for years and 50 years for their property and then giving it away. Most people are going to draw the line there. And so now, instead of him pushing back on the court, there was just literally a BC Supreme Court decision, if I'm not mistaken, that basically that's where the pushback came from, because it was being challenged by the BC government, and the court said, no, you guys are basing it on this principle. This land is not these land. This land belongs to this Cowichan tribe or whatever. So now a friend of mine had started to do some due diligence on how much money these people are getting. They've been getting tens and tens of millions of dollars, and now they're getting their land. This land is arguably in limbo.
So that's not going to be reversed?
it's definitely up for debate right now. So now Eby, instead of pushing back and saying, hey, this is a horrible decision by the courts, he's being a weather vane. Now he's just saying, hey, you know what? The public taxpayer we'll create a private fund of $150 million that will backstop the equity on this land. So now we're going to
What does that do?
Yeah, well, it's a house of cards. Like it'll never end, and it'll eventually. It's just not going to work.
Where does the money come from?
Yeah, where does the money come from? Like, just do all the other landowners in BC say, hey, we're going to like, it doesn't not how it works. And our whole fiscal system is built on trust.
Yeah.
And there again, that's something that people that don't understand fiscal policy.
Stop tapping table.
Sorry, it'll put everybody in the house. Get that from my mother. She gets real work.
So what do you think is going? Where do you think we're going to end up with that?
Oh, we're going to have a provincial election, and hopefully, well, not for a few years, but it's actually sometimes better if things go really off the rails. That way, people really see the full carnage. Sometimes when you have an election,
I think we're already pretty off the rails.
No, we're not. No, people are very slow to understand. Most people live in a very small bubble. They're just living.
Go to South Africa. That's off the rails.
Listen, if you own land and then the next day you don't own land,
that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
That will tear everything
apart. It's a big deal. Mostly because as much as none of us want to admit it, or we don't live this way, most of what we do in our day is attached to finances and the idea that money has value. Yeah. So if you like the fact that, hey, we use our houses for leveraging our bit, like everything is attached to the value.
Not only that, like if the land that you've legally purchased and invested in can just be taken from you.
You're not investing there. You're not investing there.
That's brutal. Yeah. Like that's
why there's going to be a lot of people moving to other provinces. I mean, there already has been the last few years. And that will be exacerbated now. I could see a lot of people saying, this is a risky place. No, it's not, because they're not operating on this principle. Did you find the article about...
No, I didn't find the article, but my internet's super slow as well. And so what, and because on the conservative side, the opposition party, they're falling apart too, right?
It is a gong show. Are you following the One BC? Are you following...
Oh, no. I thought you meant federal.
Are you following provincially One BC, the
blowout? Rostad's gone, or Rustad, whatever his name is. They're getting rid of him?
Yeah. They
kicked him out. Context for the American listeners or other people. So
this is hard to understand.
Right now, BC, David Eby is the premier. He runs it under the NDP, and then there's the opposition party.
NDP is equivalent to the Socialist Party here.
That's right, yeah. And then the opposition party was the one. What was it? What was the opposition party that?
One BC.
One BC. And he just stepped down, the leader.
Well, right? She got canned.
Who? She? It was a he.
That's the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party is John Rustad.
Okay, and he stepped down.
Yeah, and then there was two people that had defected from the Conservative Party a while ago.
And became One BC.
And they became One BC.
Okay.
And they had a huge blow up. And apparently, and there again, I've never gotten a straight answer from someone in that camp, but apparently it was literally over one 22-year-old staffer that was either fired or hired, or they disagreed on what should be dealt with him. They called him a Zionist. I didn't know that was a negative term. Why is Zionist a negative term, Matt?
It's essentially extremely pro-Israel, almost at any cost, and anti-Palestinian
the rest
state.
Of the world.
No, just anti-Palestinian state. And that's the Zionist position.
Would you agree with the Zionist position?
I don't know. I don't really know. I've not really thought too much about it. Is a two-state solution better? I don't know. So now that I have no idea.
Now that John Rustad's gone, are they going to go back into like a united, all one party again?
That would be the hope of most of us. Most of us, that would be on, leaning somewhat in that direction. To be like, listen, we know the province we live in. We know the cities, the urban areas in BC are extremely left-leaning.
Who can run for this position, by the way?
Anybody. I've thought of it.
Do it, Gary.
You could too, Matt. You could.
I can't. Not allowed.
You could.
No Salvation Army officers allowed.
Well, you could stop that role. It feels like you're ready for a change.
How hard would it be
to
get
ready for a change?
If I ran, how hard?
It's extremely difficult. Yeah. You think you're thick-skinned until you run for political
and your
office,
family, right? Your family's getting under the microscope.
And plus, when you've had a podcast like this, I mean, there's just so much degradation and filth.
I think it would help.
Well, at least you could just say, hey, here's the files. Throw in chat GPT and spit out all the negative things. This guy.
Find all you can. It's all right here.
Yeah, I don't care.
Sounds like he talks about sex a lot. I don't think we want this guy in public office. This is awkward.
Oh my goodness,
we're forbidden from talking about it in this episode. So from the wives.
Yeah,
you just did.
Yeah, you're the one who.
Daryl's Deals, the Save on Foods guy from the radio ads. Daryl's Deals. Have you heard of that guy?
No, hang on. You just went from John Rustad. Yes. To Daryl's Deals.
Because Daryl's Deals, the Save on Foods guy, is going to run for the BC Conservative Party.
Oh, okay.
And
that dude, really?
Yeah, he's the president of Jimmy Pattison Group. He's probably fiscally conservative, I would assume. He seems, I mean, I don't know if he has
Is he going to do
deposit.
it?
We're going to find out. Yeah, he's seriously considering running, he said.
Okay.
And there's some other solid people running
I think Rustad's problem was that he tried to make it too big of a tent. And everybody...
No, Matt, this is where you're wrong. This is where you're wrong.
All right.
No, the people that are on the 1BC camp, and there's a strong contingent of people, especially after COVID, that are sick of government. They're anti-killing the ostriches.
Yep.
You know, they're not letting anybody touch them with a needle for anything, even if they're dying. I'm going to really label these people. No, there's a whole camp of people that are very far right, for lack of a better word, right? And in Alberta, the province is right-leaning enough that camp can be the united, that party, the UCP, and that she can somehow keep them together.
Right.
But in our province, in order to win a provincial election, in my opinion, you need to be a little more center. And that's why the BC Liberals...
Yeah, but I didn't say that. I didn't say anything about that.
Well, I'm telling you, when Gordon Campbell, in my childhood, probably before you were here, Gordon Campbell was the premier, and he was pretty... Now, there again, he was what we would call center-right, and he was probably even more right-leaning than most people in that party now. But, of course, times have changed. You're not going to win a provincial election, in my opinion, in BC, in our province, without gathering that tent. So you have to have a big tent. Now, there again,
I never said
you just said the 1BC. He said John Rustad.
I said John Rustad's problem
tent.
was that he went too big of a tent.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
I think he actually went too small because he didn't let some of his people have certain views on things and he would kick them out. Like, you need to have...
I didn't know he did. Who did you do that to?
Well, Dallas Brody. I mean, she basically said, and there again, I'm going to go on a rant because I'm going to ask...
You clearly know more about this than I do.
I only follow it, like Dallas...
I follow the federal stuff.
Have you heard of the documentary that she just made, Making a Killing?
No.
Okay, so Dallas Brody, there again, and she's like, it sounds like they're just imploding, which is good or bad.
Her party or the Conservative
the 1BC party is imploding. They only had 2 MPs and now there's 1. So, I mean, when you lost 50% of your party,
So how many votes would she represent?
Way more than what it would seem, because a lot of people that were frustrated with John Rustad not taking more of a stand on things would instantly gravitate towards that party.
Right.
It'd be very similar to the PPC federally.
Yeah.
Be like... But anyways, the whole idea, I guess, is with Dallas Brody is like in my opinion, her whole party was about the talk about First Nations children's deaths at residential schools, how that's not true. It's never been, proven. No bodies have been found, which to my knowledge is true. She's not wrong. But she's made that her entire political platform. And I mean, I started watching the documentary the other day and I haven't finished it, but I watched probably 30, 40 minutes of it. And what I found like, you're allowed to broach that subject. You're allowed to ask the hard questions. She was a lawyer. She was a social lawyer for people in Vancouver. But I think when you're dealing with something where children were taken out of a home, and there again, I brought this up with somebody yesterday, and they said, the homes they were in were horrible, blah. But like,
it's not grounds to win anything on.
It's not ground. Like, you're dealing with something so brutal and so gross. There needs to be so much empathy and so much grace.
Yeah.
So yes, you can ask the questions, but don't come across as a social justice warrior. You know what I mean? There was zero empathy in it. It was so much about, hey, we're just going to discredit these people. And there's another guy, he was a school teacher in Abbotsford. There again, like said, hey, where's the bodies in 2021 back when you weren't even allowed to question anything?
But you're saying they were doing more than just asking questions. They were really camping out and making this an issue to win votes on.
Well, I feel like it a bit, and I feel like the empathy was lost. I feel like, hey, either way, you're allowed to take a serious stand on stuff, but always be loving. And it just felt like there was this smugness of like, and screw everybody. And it was the only issue. It's like, no, this is a big province with many different backgrounds and ethnicities and issues. If you're going to be the leader of our entire province, you're going to represent every community, even if they didn't vote for you. That's something that somebody told me a long time ago. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They're so excited about enshrining their beliefs into law when they get into political power, and there's something about just kind of being.
I think the winning issue right now is just standard of living.
I mean, that's a big thing. I think the party has to grab like 3 or 4 really major issues and go after those hard.
And what are they?
Standard of living. Everybody's getting poorer. Everybody.
Yeah.
Unless you're
devaluation of money.
It's inflation and all that is
connected to that. Okay.
Yeah. I think the
cut government spending.
Huge government bloating. The bureaucracy is just ridiculously bloated.
Medical system.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good one too. Yeah, that's failing.
And then education.
I think we should have two-tier medical system.
I think the drug.
Do you think we should have private?
Yes.
The drug problem in BC, most people would agree on right across the board.
How are we going to deal with the drug problem?
But either way, I think before we get to that part, I think if you pick those 4 issues, then let each candidate in wherever they're running have their opinions on everything else, and that can be a free vote. Otherwise, you're going to never have a party where everyone's going to get kicked out. You have what the the federal Conservatives have now, which is that basically they can't say anything.
That's how it's always been federally. It's been like that for a long time.
It's worse than it ever has been.
But the media is grossly
one-sided.
Vindictive and vindictive.
Like I can't even watch CBC anymore. It's just so blatantly one-sided all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
it's ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, where else are we?
Someone wanted me to jump in and say there's a new reform.
Jumpins! That's a good word.
New reform. Nice. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.